Aloha, my friends. This is Billy Wiggly coming at you live from the Ninth Island, Las Vegas, Nevada. How you doing today, my friend? Are you staying positive? Because you know that's all we do here at Don't Get Mad, Get Skills. We focus on the positives and we let all those negatives just slide on by. And you got to check this out. So you know that I've been doing this live stream for about a couple years on and off. And it was a couple months ago that I really decided to, really get into it and really start focusing on you and giving you all the info and the best value that I can give you and helping you learn the skills that you need that are going to change your day. Who knows? Maybe you're at my live stream one morning and you just pick up some golden nugget. What if I'm teaching something and you learn something really valuable that changes your life? And it's something that didn't even have anything to do with Excel. It's a golden nugget. That's what I call it. So be open and check out my live streams Monday through Friday and look for the golden nugget. Get yourself some Excel skills. So while I'm sitting there streaming, I never really have anybody on the live stream. Like right now, it looks like I got one person, but that also could be me on my other computer watching myself. So if you're really a real person there, what's up? Aloha. Thank you for being here. I'm going to keep on teaching. So yesterday, I'm sitting right here. I got all my equipment that I'm learning how to use. Right there is Excel. I got that one down. Always learning Excel, though, because nobody ever knows everything there is to know about Excel. That's why you always got to keep on learning. So I've got all these different things going on. And then suddenly, boom, there's like 5 people on the chat at the same time commenting. And when I saw that, I lost it completely, man. I had all this going on and then I saw those people. And then I was just like, now what do I do? I just lost it. I even forgot how to, I wanted to end the stream so you couldn't see me no more. And I couldn't. Man. So I just kept plugging away, finished it. And then I just deleted that live stream from all the platforms. So we're going to go after it again today. It's day 2, round 2, because you can't ever just give up. Don't get mad. Get skills and fulfill that mission. And the mission today is to learn how to write some macros in Excel, because you got to check this out right here. The live stream that I did, you got to look for a previous live stream that I did on how to print properly, where I teach you how to take something like this spreadsheet that you see right here, and we're going to go right ahead and press Control P. Control P is the shortcut for the print preview. Control P. That's Control plus P. Control P, print preview. And we do a print preview and we notice that this isn't printing out quite right for us. So what we had to do is we went through all the steps to learn how to print properly and set it up carefully so that it all be fitting on one page. So what we're going to learn today is to create a macro. I'm going to press Control P so that we see that this one is not all set to print. And then we're going to create a macro. We're going to learn how to create a macro. And this is one of the macros that we're going to be creating. It's one of the last ones that we'll create. And it goes through all the print settings. So make sure that you go to my YouTube channel if you're not already on it, because you could be watching this on Twitch or on LinkedIn or Facebook. So you might not know about the YouTube channel. And you go to youtube.com/Mr. Aloha. I'm the only Mr. Aloha in the whole world on YouTube. And when you go right over to my YouTube channel, just go right over to the search area and then type in printing. Enter. And here we see the live stream that I did last week. Learn how to print properly and fit to one page. So you can go back and refer to it. And you learn the steps that we took to make sure that this prints properly. So today we're learning how to record a macro. And then I'm going to let you know exactly what a macro is, which is basically a recording of all the steps that I had to take to set the print settings so that this prints properly. So what we have now, and you're going to learn this today, is we got a macro right here. It's the print properly macro. It's a little smiley face. I got it on the quick access toolbar. And now I'm going to go ahead and press it. Whoops. Enable macros, yes. Not again. It's this macro workbook. Okay, so basically, we're recording a macro that is going to go ahead and run this for us. So let's just take a quick look right here at our info. So this is an XLSM, and I should be able to run that macro. But anyways, there's going to be a macro that runs. Enable. Yes, enable it. I moved the file. That's what happened. So anyways, the macro we're going to record today, it's going to make it so that everything is printing properly in one place. So let me go ahead and press Alt F8 really quickly here. Let's test this out. There's my macro. Oh, I ran the macro, but we ran the macro, and now look at the print settings. Control P, boom. There's page 1, page 2, and everything was applied to it. We got the custom headers, we got the custom footers right there, and we got the title row right here to print on both pages. Okay, so the only problem that I really ran into right here was just that I didn't assign the proper macro to that, but we're going to learn that today. So in the meantime, let me go right over here to more commands, and I'm going to remove that button from the quick access toolbar. And then today, let's go ahead and learn how to record macros. So let's go ahead and get right into it, and we'll start out with our 6-item list. We don't need this anymore. I don't even want to see that spreadsheet. And we're going to get right here into the 6-item list. But before we do that, we might as well get started with a little bit of music. Set it up properly for us. All right, let's go. The 6-item list is important. I'm never going to quit reminding you of the 6-item list because it can make a big difference in your life. And the first item that we do on our 6-item list every single day. What's up, Mark Salerno, my friend? I love you, brother. Thank you for being here. You know that you're a really important person in my life. You know, when we were first at Fred Pryor, learning how to become professional speakers. I remember that, bro. You supported me big time, Mark. Thank you very much. 6-item list right here for everybody. First of all, and thank you for being a good friend, Mark. It makes it easy for me to choose to be happy every single day. Choose to be happy is the first thing that we got to do when you wake up every single day, and you got full control of that. So you decide, choose to be happy, and then make a plan. So we're going to make a plan today, ensure our success. And the plan that we're making is right here. We're going to learn about macros. Not everything about macros, because we could spend a whole month just learning macros. We're going to learn the basics of macros. Just basically, what is a macro? We're going to learn how to record a macro. We're going to record a simple macro, then a little bit more advanced macro, and then I'm going to show you how to do that. Printing macro. We're going to learn about relative reference in macros. We're going to learn about the developer tab, which is hidden from you because Microsoft doesn't want you messing with the developer tab. But today you will find out what that secret's all about. We're going to add a button that actually works, not like the little button that, I was trying to jam, and I guess what I ended up doing was just jamming up. Now, the very last thing we're going to do is watch Excel write code. Yeah, we can watch Excel as we record a macro, make the code appear. Visual Basic for Applications. And you're asking, what's Visual Basic for Applications? Maybe you've heard of VBA. Well, we're going to learn today. We've got our plan in place. And now what we do all the time is we don't get mad. We get skills all the time. And most of all, whatever it is that is in our plan, whatever it is that is our definite major purpose in life, whatever it is we need to do to take care of, we want to go ahead and do it now. Yeah, buddy. That's how it is. So now let's go right ahead and get right into it. So let's learn about what is a macro. But before we do that, the 7 steps to Excel success, because macros is part of the 7 steps to Excel success. You want to go ahead and lay a solid foundation, invest the time. I know you want to go ahead and jump right into figuring out what VBA is and start writing code, and then you want to go ahead and start making pivot tables. But before you even get to pivot tables, do you even know what a table is? Go to myexcel.club. All the VIP members of the 7 steps to Excel success know what a table is, and they know Control T. Control T. So let's get right into more of the 7 steps to Excel success. Step 1. Decide what it is you want to do. Design it. Am I even in the right program? Then begin to build it. Begin to build the plane. Remember templates. Step 3, the heartbeat of Excel. Yeah, that's right. Formulas and functions, my friends. Formulas and functions, the heartbeat of Excel. And then formatting. This is where you brand yourself. Go ahead and search for how to format properly on my YouTube channel. You're going to find how to format properly. We made it pretty because this is about branding yourself. What do people think when they hear your name? What do they think? What do you think they think? Keep on rolling to reporting. And when we get to reporting, wow, if we've set everything up properly, we won't have any problems running reports. Then we learned how to fit to one page when we were printing. That way we didn't have to do the cut and paste. You know, we cut the sheets and then tape them together. That's the original cut and paste. Now right here, we're automation. There's a lot of talk nowadays about automation. And macros been around for a long time. A long time. Macros. It makes mundane tasks that are repetitive fun. And step number 7 that we're getting into right now, right here, is our macros. But what is a macro? Well, let's slide right over here so I can show you. Whoops. I can show you what a macro is. Now, I'm not going to read that whole thing. You can just pause it right here or rewind it and see that a macro is just a recording. It's a set of instructions. It automates complex tasks. We record the sequence of commands, sequence of steps, and then we can execute them. We can run that macro with a keyboard shortcut, with a button, with a shape, or with just Alt F8. View the macros, run the macro. How are macros made? We're going to learn today. How are our macros made? And the macros, you press record, you start clicking. That's how you start giving instructions to Excel on what needs to be on the macro. And Excel begins to record all those steps and converts them into code. The language of Excel, VBA, Visual Basic for Applications. Now you can use a combination of the macro recorder and VBA to write your macro. You can do it just with the macro recording, press record and go for it. Or you can write the code, or you can you create the macro with the macro recorder and then edit it, fine tune it using VBA. We're not going to get into VBA today, but I'm going to show you where the VBA is, and I'm going to show you some tools that'll help you work with VBA, like the Excel formula bot. Why use macros? Maybe that should have been the first slide. Why use macros? Well, because you're tired of doing the same thing over and over again. You're tired of applying 15 print settings to one worksheet just to get it to print right. You do that over and over and over every single day. It adds up. And at the end of the year, there's only 86,400 seconds in a day, and you can't make more time or save time. You can only spend it and invest it. So your macros, we're going to use the macros in Excel to save time. And I just say you can't save time, right? We got to reword that. Check that out. You know where I got that? I asked ChatGPT. I said, hey, ChatGPT, why should I use macros? And that's what it told me. It's not AI that's going to take your job. It's not knowing how to use the AI that's going to take, well, actually, it's the person that knows how to use AI that's going to take your job. So we're going to create macros to simplify tasks, repetitive tasks. 7 steps to Excel success, my friends. Let's get right into it. So now, let's step into Excel. Let's go into our plan, and we see that we can go ahead and check off what is a macro. Ta-da! I love doing that. Just marking things off, accomplishing things. So let's go right ahead. We'll close that. And here in Excel, we're going to start out with a very simple macro. Just a little macro that puts in live, aloha, just like that. That's all it does. And then enter. That's what that macro does. It's a simple macro. You can record a macro of anything in Excel. And you can record macros in Microsoft Word too. Did you know that? Like maybe you're apply some specific formatting in Microsoft Word to this certain document all the time. And it's like about 15 clicks to apply all that formatting. Well, you can record those steps and then just do it with the click of a button. So to start recording your macro, you want to go to the View tab. So let's go to the View tab, and we're going to go all the way to the Macros group. When we hover over the Macros group, you notice that there's a tooltip, and it tells us that when we want to view our macros, we can just press Alt F8. So let me press Alt F8. And here we see the macro dialog box, and it tells us, well, we don't have any macros in here. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. Let me make sure that I got no other workbooks open. All right. So we're going to go to record a macro. We go right back to the View tab. Alt F8 just takes us to View Macros. So we can view the macros and run them, edit them, change the options, and the like. We're going to go there. But first, we're going to go to record a macro. Now here, what I'm going to do is right click and add it to the quick access toolbar. You'll notice this is grayed out because I already added it to the quick access toolbar. So let's head over there. And there it is. I also customized my status bar. So when you look right down here at the status bar, just right down there, you'll notice that there's the macro record dialog box. There's a whole lot of features. That's a whole nother live stream. Just going over the status bar. That's what this is, the status bar. I love this accessibility feature. It's letting me know right now, like right before I send this workbook to anybody, if I was going to send it to anybody, and I see this accessibility investigate, I'm going to check it out. Because, you know, maybe somebody's colorblind and I don't have the right contrast. I don't know. It would tell me. That's another class. Right now, we're just interested in knowing that the macro record button is there. So that means I can press record from anywhere, from my quick access toolbar, from the view macros, and from the status bar. So let me go ahead and delete that because we're going to record the macro. So here I go, click record macro, and the record macro dialog box appears. We're going to give our macro a name. Now there's very specific ways to give your macro names. So I'm going to say live aloha, just like that. Now take a close look at that. Now to give it a shortcut key, this is the part that's a little tricky when it comes to macros, the shortcut key. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips. If I was to put the shortcut key Control C and I press OK and I start recording my macro, to run that macro, I press Control C. So anytime I'm in this particular workbook, right? Not any other workbooks, but when I'm in this particular workbook and I press Control C to copy something, because that's a shortcut to copy, it's not going to copy. What's it going to do? That's right. it's going to bold. No, that's not right. I really got to get used to seeing comments come in on the chat. No. So when you're in this workbook and you press Control C to copy something, it's not going to copy something. It's going to go ahead and run this Live Aloha macro, and that's not what you want to do. So you want to make sure that you use a shortcut key that is not being utilized. Let me give you a quick tip. Where would you go to find all of the shortcuts in the world? How about shortcutworld.com? So when you go to shortcutworld.com right here, you're going to find tons. That's like the Wikipedia of shortcuts. We see that we got Excel. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, you don't have to go through this steps all the time just to find out what are the unassigned Excel keystrokes. You could search for unassigned Excel keystrokes. And it just depends on what if that information that you find, it could be from 10 years ago. And maybe those keystrokes that were unassigned back then, they're assigned now. So we're going to go to you can go to the shortcutworld.com, and let's say you want to do a control something. You can just press Control F to turn on your find, and then you can just start, looking for Control A. Looks like there's a few Control A's. No Control. How about a Control H? Yep. That's taken already right there. So I can tell you right now, pretty much all your control something combinations are going to be gone. So what I'm going to say is try Control plus Shift. Control Shift plus something else. Control Shift Z. So we try Control Shift Z, and we see that that's available. There is no shortcut in Excel. Control Shift Z. Usually when you use the Shift key, press the Shift key and then press shortcut. Usually most of those are available. But I would go ahead and search it. But you don't have to use a keyboard shortcut. There's other ways. Let's go ahead and add. I'm not going to add a shortcut key because I want to show you how to come back and do it after the fact. We're recording our Live Aloha macro. Our macro that when we run it, puts in the words Live Aloha with an exclamation mark and then moves the marquee down. We're storing the macro in this workbook. That means that it's available only in this workbook. So that if I save this workbook and I send it to you, it's going to arrive to you as a macro enabled workbook. Excel's going to ask you if you trust it, and then you're going to say yes. And then this macro goes with this workbook. If I open up any other workbook and I want to stamp Live Aloha and I want to run the Live Aloha macro in it, it's not going to work because it's only available in this workbook. Now, if I store this macro in my personal macro workbook, that means that Excel is going to create a workbook that's always hidden. So whenever you open up Excel, there's going to be two workbooks opening up. The one you're working on and your personal macro workbook that's hidden in the background. You won't know it's there. It's hidden, but it's there. And it contains all the macros. So that means that if you store this Live Aloha macro in the personal macro workbook, it's going to be available in every single workbook that we open. So let's go ahead and say, I'm just going to store it in this workbook. And you want to give it a description. It inserts Live Aloha and enters. You're writing a description because what if, a year from now you open up this workbook and you notice you got macros in it and you can't remember what that macro does. That's what the description's for. Or what if somebody else is using this workbook? Maybe they want to know what that macro does before they run it. So now I press OK, and I want you to notice what's going to happen right here. All the record icons, that one, the one that we got right down here. Look. And then the one that appears here. All those icons are going to change to record. So click. Uh-oh, we got a problem. Let's check it out. Let's not just do this. Come on. Oh, come on, Excel. Stupid Excel. Don't get mad. Get skills. Let's just take a moment and read what the problem is. Look closely at the name of my macro. And then right here it says the syntax of this name isn't correct. Verify that the name starts with a letter or underscore, doesn't include a space or character that isn't allowed. Oh, space. Could that be that space? That's right there. Yeah. And it doesn't conflict with an existing name in the workbook. So it looks like it's this. We got a space right in here. So let's press OK. And then we can do two things. We can just take out that space like that. Or what could you do to make it look like there's a space, but there's actually no space? Come on, tell me. Mess me up. Put something in the chat. You guys already know. I told you from the beginning of this stream that I can't handle more than one person at a time in the comments. So come on, discombobulate me. How do we make it look like there's a space when there's actually no space? That's right. Underscore. Here we have it. Underscore. And now we're going to press OK. Boom. And we're recording a macro. Check it out. The record macro icon there changed. Right down here on the bottom, it changed over there. So there you go. Is this being recorded? Woo, 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 woo. How about that? How about this? Is that being recorded? Come on. How about this? Is that being recorded in the macro? If you said no, you're right. Because it's only recording the steps and actions that are taking place in Excel. That zooming in and zooming out and drawing and sounds and all that, that's not Excel. That's Zoom It and then my Stream Deck. Not Excel. So those steps aren't recorded. This is like that. And then press enter. That macro just got recorded. Those steps got recorded. Why? Because it happened in Excel. Now I'm going to press OK. And starting with Friday's live stream, I'm going to start sharing the spreadsheets that I'm working in. So right when the stream starts, I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can download the spreadsheet and follow along. 7 Steps to Excel Success VIP members pay $7 a month. They got access to everything, even me. Let's go ahead and stop recording. So we press start record macro. We went through the steps. Now we stop recording. Now we can go right ahead and delete that. We want to run the macro. So to run the macro, there's a couple ways. We can go to our macros, view macros. There we see that the shortcut is Alt F8. I want you to notice this one, use relative references. We're going to come back to that. So let's go right ahead and say view macros. There's our macros. Let me escape. Alt F8. Alt F8 launches my view macros. And there's the Live Aloha macro. So let me just go right ahead and run it. For bam. Angels is what we hear when we do things right in Excel. And so there it is. There it is. Okay. So this macro is designed to run right here. I could put this macro over here and it's going to put the name Live Aloha right here, but it's going to bring the marquee right back over there because this macro is set to run here. Watch. Just go right over here and let's press Alt F8 and let's run it. It's going to go ahead and put Live Aloha right here, but the marquee's not going to go down. It's going to go right back to where we recorded it. Wow. See that? Maybe that's not how you really want it to work. There's another way. So now we got our macro. So now let me press Alt F8 because maybe we want to add a keyboard shortcut to it. So after the fact, we decided, we want to add a keyboard shortcut to this macro. And here we see the description, right, that we put in before. And it's showing us all the macros in all the open workbooks. Think about that. So now here we see that we selected only macro that we currently have. We can press run to run it. But what we want to do is we want to assign a keyboard shortcut. Most of the time when I ask you, how can we go ahead and give it a shortcut? First thing you tell me is click on edit. All right, let's click on edit and see what happens. And then when we click on edit, oh, you see all that and you're like, let's get out of here as fast as we possibly can. That is the VBA editor. So you know what? I'm going to go right here to customize the ribbon because I'm going to do something really quick here so I can show you how to do it. All right. So now I just undid something so that I can show you what I did. Not right now, though. Hang in there in a moment. All right. So we've got our macro that we recorded, our Live Aloha macro. We want to add a keyboard shortcut to it now. So we press Alt F8, the shortcut to view our macros. And we know that we don't want to press edit because we don't want to go into the Visual Basic editor. So we got another option. Now we can go ahead and delete the macro here if we like. Step into it is something else. When you press step into it, that's for another workshop, another live stream. That's more advanced right there. That's where we actually go into the Visual Basic editor and we go step by step through the macro. Now I'm going to go ahead and press the options, and right there we can give it a shortcut. So I'm going to press the Shift key and put the Z. Because we know that Control-Shift-Z is available, we went to the shortcutworld.com and searched for it. Press OK, and then close here. Delete that from there, and then press Control-Shift-Z. Just like it's supposed to be. Now remember, I can run that macro here, but that's not really where it's designed to run, right? Control-Shift-Z, boom. And then marquee goes right back here. So, you know, that's not actually really the proper way to do this. If you wanted that Live Aloha to appear wherever you wanted to and run exactly correctly where you put it, there's something else we're going to do. Let's get into another macro here, the format macros. Now, I want you to notice something. The extension for this workbook, XLSX. Hold that thought, because when I go to close this workbook, something's going to happen. Typically, something happens. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's been happening when I was practicing. You can't ever just give up. Make a plan. Go for it. So here what we're going to do is we're going to create a macro that formats this, right? And then the way that we want it to be formatted, let's go to our home tab where all our formatting options take place. We can also right click. So this is the way that we want it to be formatted. We want to put in all the borders. Then we want to go ahead and bold this. Then we're going to go ahead and merge and center the title row. It's okay to merge and center this row. Why? I just said it. Because it's the title row and it's above the headers. Don't use merge cells. Use them only for title rows. I just don't use them, period. I don't even know why they got. There's got to be a reason why Excel has them. So, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to center this right here. We're going to give that a yellow background. This one's going to be a black background, and we're going to give it a white font. And then that's it. That's it. So basically our macro is just going to run through these steps right here. It's going to go through and we're going to run it and boop, it's going to do these steps. So that's not a macro that I just did, right? I just went through the redo and undid actions. You can undo up to 100 actions at once. Right now there's only 7. So basically there's these 7 steps that we recorded. We recorded those 7 steps, these 7 steps right here. These 7 actions, we recorded them. Apply the borders, bold, merge the cell, center alignment, format cells, then format cells some more, right? And I can't remember what this one was. And then when we just recorded those steps, and then when we run the macro, Excel just plays these steps back faster than we could have done it ourselves. That's why it's like that. All right. So let's keep on rolling. Now I'm going to record a macro to do all this. Let's go ahead and undo this. So the very first step in recording our macro is press record macro. And let's go ahead and call it format. Format sheet. Is that okay? Take a close look. Is that okay? Is that going to work? No? Okay, good. Why? Tell me in the chat. All right, because there's a space. Excel's not going to like that space right there. If we go ahead and press OK, it's going to tell us, hey, you got a problem. So let's go ahead and we're going to put the underscore. Now we got there's the macro name, format sheet. We're not going to give it a shortcut key because we're going to add a little icon. We're going to add a little icon to the quick access toolbar that runs our macro. Formats the sheet. Whoops. I forgot I had it set on all caps. Okay. And let's go right ahead. Press OK. And we're going to go through our steps. Control A to select our range of data. Control A. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the borders. Then I'm going to select these two rows and press Control B to bold. Then let's go right ahead and merge and center the title row and fill it with the yellow. Then let's go right ahead and select the header row and center it and fill it with a black background and white fonts for contrast. Now we can just go right ahead and stop recording. We could stop recording in our quick access toolbar, or we can stop recording down here on our status bar, or we could always go to the view tab, macros, stop recording right there. So let's just go ahead and stop recording. So all that time, everything that we did, none of that got recorded except for the steps that we took inside of Excel. Watch this. We can go ahead and undo all these steps. Boom. Now we're going to run that macro. So I'm going to press Alt F8 to view my macros. Or you could just go back to your view tab, view macros, same thing. There we have the two macros that are in this workbook. So we see the format sheet macro, and we can go ahead and run it. Now remember the undo, okay? We were able to undo before, but now we're going to run this macro. Now let's check out the undo. Ooh, can't undo. Remember that. You can't undo a macro. Once you ran it, once you run it, you ran it. So now let's add a little button on the quick access toolbar that runs that macro for us. So here we have it. Let me move over to my other computer right over here. It's trying to go to sleep. I don't want that other computer to go to sleep. I want that computer to be up all the time. All right, here we go. There we go. I'm monitoring my stream on that computer over there. And it's looking like it's a healthy stream. How you feeling? I love you. So let's go right ahead and add a button to our quick access toolbar. And then we're going to go right over here to our quick access toolbar. Now, your quick access toolbar may be up here. Mine is down here. If you're wondering what's up with the quick access toolbar, 7 steps to Excel success VIP members, they know what to do. Or you can just go to my YouTube channel and then just search for QAT, quick access toolbar. I wonder if I have anything on there in the quick access toolbar. Let's go to my YouTube channel. Let's get back in here. Let's just type QAT. That's the abbreviation for quick access toolbar. Enter. Oh, There it is. From 8 years ago. I've been around for a long time. This guy's got some experience. All right. Now let's get back in here to our plan. We recorded a macro. That's good. That one's done. Let's check that off. We're moving right along. Ba-bam. All right. Now we're going to go over here to add a button. Cool. That's next. Add a button. So we're going to add a button to our quick access toolbar. So we go right to our quick access toolbar. We watched Billy's video on YouTube on how to customize a quick access toolbar and all the features in it. So here we don't see any macro buttons, anything related to macros, but we do see more commands. So let's go right ahead and click on more commands. Now notice the more commands opens up in your Excel options. And it goes right to the quick access toolbar. Right here inside the quick access toolbar, you're going to click on popular commands. So right here in the customize the quick access toolbar, you're going to click on popular commands and you're going to choose macros. And there's our macros. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and select the macro that you want to add. So we select the format sheet macro and we go ahead and we press add. And there it is, the format sheet macro. Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and press OK. So there's the format sheet macro right there. Let me go right ahead. I'm going to clear the formatting of this one so we can come back to it. I'm going to go to my home tab, clear formats. Whoops. All right. So we're right back over here. Let's go ahead and run that macro. So we add our macro to the quick access toolbar. We hover over it and it's the format sheet macro right there. It's the only macro we have. This is on the quick access toolbar. That's the icon for macros. Okay. So I'm going to press format sheet. Boom. There you have it. Yeah. And in addition to the boom, we also get angels. All right. So that works. Cool. But what if we had several macros on here on our quick access toolbar? How are we going to know the difference? Let's go ahead and add another one. I'm going to click on the drop down, more commands, macros, and then add the Live Aloha macro in here. Add it. Then I'm going to press OK. And now look, you got these macros here. Let's say that you wanted to go ahead and format, and you're going to go ahead and you press that one. Oh, that's not what I want to do. And now you can't undo it because you can't undo a macro. So you're bummed because you're saying, well, gee, I pressed the wrong one. So how can we make it so we tell the difference between these two? We can modify them. That's right. So we're going to modify them. Let's go right back here. Let me copy the Infinity School from here. Go back in here. There we have it. All right. So now let's go ahead and modify these buttons. So we can just right click on the quick access toolbar and go to customize the quick access toolbar. And then right over here, we have in customize the quick access toolbar. Let me go ahead and move this over a little bit right here for you. So in customize quick access toolbar, we see all the current buttons that we have. And we're going to go ahead and select the format sheet macro and click on modify. And then we can go right ahead and pick an icon. We're going to pick the smiley face for that one and press OK. Press OK. And there we have it. Just like that. Now we can start to tell the difference between the macros. That's the format sheet macro. And then this one is the Live Aloha macro. Boom. So let's run the format sheet macro. Yes. Boom. And it's working. All right, let's go. So now we know how to add a button to the quick access toolbar. And then I was talking about, we want to make this, if we run the live aloha macro, wherever we put the marquee, it's going to put in live aloha, but then the marquee comes right back to cell A2. We want to make it so that, you know, wherever we run it, that's where it runs. Well, that's where relative references come in right there. That's what we're going to talk about next. It runs your macro relative to where it's at. And it's kind of like relative references when you're writing a formula. Remember that? Look for how to write formulas in Excel. And you'll know the difference between absolute reference, relative cell references, and the like. So what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and we want to create a macro that just adds a lavender background to a row. Like it highlights the row and then it gives it a lavender background. Let's go right here I want to find the lavender. I picked it. Oh, right here. I got it. That one's a little bit lighter. Boom. That does that, right? Every row that I wherever I put my marquee, I can just go right ahead and whoop, boom, do that. Okay. Who knows? I've seen accountants that need this macro because they highlight us. You know, they're going through the spreadsheet. They're just, I'm gonna highlight that, highlight that, highlight that. Okay. So you might need that. Now I'm gonna Control Z because we can undo this. We know the lavender that we want to use. And we know the steps. The steps are going to be, I'm just going to put my marquee in one place. And I'm going to press one of my navigation shortcuts. 7 steps to Excel success. VIP members pay $7 a month. And they know all these shortcuts. They do. All right. And if they don't, they can just ask me. There's a lot of things that we need to know. And you can learn them. 7 steps to Excel success. VIP membership. So the first step that we want to do is a navigation shortcut. Control, Shift, here. Navigation shortcut that we're about to use. I'm going to type it. Let me get back on over here to this side. I'll type it right here. Control plus Shift plus arrow. And I'm going to press my arrow to the right. And that's what that's going to do. It's going to navigate while selecting. Control navigates in the direction of your arrows. Shift selects in the direction of your arrows. Control Shift navigates while selecting. Watch this. Control, arrow to the right, goes to my last empty cell. Control, arrow to the left, boom, goes to the very beginning. I can go down. Control, down to the last empty cell. Control, down all the way to row 1,048,576. That's how many rows in Excel. Boom, now we go up. All right, that's the navigation shortcut. And if we press the control plus the shift, because look, the shift selects in the direction of your arrows. If you press the control to navigate and the shift at the same time, it's going to navigate while selecting. That's the first step of our macro. So I had to teach you some navigation shortcuts. So let's go right ahead. And the first step, Control Shift A, arrow to the right, fill it, and stop. That's going to be the macro. So let's go right ahead and go to our View tab and go to Macros. Now here is the step that we want to take because we want this macro to run relative to where we place the marquee, to where we run it. Because if I just go right ahead and start recording macros, this macro is going to record right here and do the fill right there. So wherever I go, it's not like the Live Aloha macro that types text and press enters. No, This one, what it's going to do when I run it, it's going to always go right back over here and run in the absolute location. So I want it to run relative of wherever I put it. Like if I put my marquee right here, it's going to run right here. I mean, I wouldn't really want to do that, but I'm just saying. So let's go right ahead and go to macros, and let's make this macro relative. So we're going to go right ahead, and you know when you hover over it, you get the tooltip. You just got to wait more than 1 second. Remember to wait 1.1 seconds. So here we're going to go ahead and click on Use Relative References. Now, listen up. Whenever you select Use Relative References, that becomes your default. And it's on always in all your workbooks. So any workbook that you open up and you go ahead and you record a macro, it's always going to be relative until you turn that off. That becomes a default for all of your Excel. We've got Use Relative References activated. Now let's go ahead and start recording our macro. We're going to call this macro, let's just call it Lavender. I'm not going to give it a shortcut key. We're just going to give it a button. I'm going to show you how to draw a different button, an actual button. And I'm also going to show you how to assign a macro to anything. So adds Lavender. Oops. I stop the cat, all caps. Adds Lavender row. Oh, it's not a highlight. Row background. Boom. You call it, whatever description you want. Press OK. Macro is recording now. We see right up here that the macro is recording. So now let's go right ahead and press Control Shift arrow to the right. That step is recorded. Now we can go to the Home tab. And there we have it. Now we can stop recording and we can undo this. So now let's go ahead and run that macro. Alt F8. Boom. There's our Lavender macro. We can select it and run it or just double click on it. Success. Yes. Let's put it right here. Actually, let's test it. Let's assign a button. Let's just first assign a macro to a shape. So I'm going to draw a little shape right over here. You can do this with an image, with anything. So let's go to Insert. Right here on Insert, I can insert a picture from this device. Let's see if I can find a picture. Well, I'm not going to look for a picture right now, but I'm just going to say that we could add a picture and assign a macro to it. Instead, I'm going to just go ahead and just grab a shape right here. And I'm going to draw out a shape. Boom. Just like that. And, we can give it some text. Zebra stripe. Which is not really what it's called. It's called a banded row. So there you have it. Okay, so that's going to be a button that we press. It's not really a button. It's just a shape. You could also put an image. Just like I tried to insert a picture, but I didn't want to go through all my computer looking for a picture to put on there. So we just drew a shape. Now, let's go right ahead and slide on over here. And I want you to look what's going to happen here. I'm going to right click on that shape. And then now look, we can assign a macro to it. Pretty cool, yeah? Assign a macro. And then our macro dialog box appears. Assign macro dialog box, and we can say, hey, that's the Lavender macro right there, and press OK. And then now, whenever you press zebra stripe, let's say we're going to put it right here. Boom, zebra stripe. We're going to zebra stripe that too. Boom, just like that. Nice. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and right click here, and I'm going to delete that. Delete it. All right. Macro's still there. All we did is just delete that shape. What we're going to do now is we're going to insert a control, a real control. It's an actual button, a real button. So to do that, we got to use our developer tab. The developer tab is the one that really takes us into the Visual Basic Editor. That's our macro tab. That's where we work with macros, is when you get a little bit more advanced. So let's go right ahead, right click on our ribbon, and then go to customize the ribbon. So now right here in customize the ribbon, main tabs, scroll down, and here you see that the developer tab is not checked off. So to enable the developer tab, select it, press OK, and now here you see the developer tab has been enabled. Pretty cool. Let's see what's on the developer tab. Look at that. Visual Basic, Alt F11. What happens when you press Alt F11? We get into our macros. Check it out. This is our Lavender macro. There's our Live Aloha macro. In green is the description. And then here is the macro. You type this and then go to that cell, A2. There's the format sheet macro right here. Moves so good, smoothly, jerks me around. There's a format sheet macro, and look, first thing we do is select a range, put in the borders. You know the color index, do you think if we change that to a different number, it would change the color in the macro? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. All right, so this is the Visual Basic Editor. The next one is Alt F8, same one where we can view our macros. And then you've got all these other controls. So we're going to add a control right in here. And in the control group right here, you're going to click on Insert, this toolbox right here. Once we click on Insert, here we see the form controls and ActiveX controls. Use the form controls and we're going to click on this button. There's so much more you can do. I mean, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. Investing your time, because in the future, laying a good solid foundation is going to pay off. I know you've heard this before. Probably not about Excel, but it's true in Excel. So we selected that, and now we can draw out that button. So there's our button. And what did you see what happened? Let me escape from that. Let me delete that. The moment I drew the button and I released, boom, it instantly asked me to assign a macro. Yeah. Watch how it's going to ask me to assign a macro. Control group, insert, button. I can draw the button out. Boom, it's asking me right now to select a macro for it. So I can go right ahead and select the Lavender macro and press OK. Now let me move my button right over here to the side. Now take a look at it. I mean, it looks like a button. Right click on it, because we're going to go ahead and edit the text. Or you could also double click on it. And then we call this what it really is, banded row. That's actually the real name of the zebra stripe in Excel, banded row. And then you're saying to yourself, hey, Billy, can't you make that button just a little prettier? No, that's how it is when it comes to buttons. So maybe if you want it to be really pretty, maybe you want to assign a macro to an image, or maybe a shape, because the shape you can customize the color and the font and all that. This one is just like that. So now let's go ahead and put our marquee where we want that banded row to go. I'm on the very bottom, row 11. Wham! Nice. And then row 7 right here. Put the marquee where I want to run the macro. Bam! Nice. That's relative referencing. So now we go to View, Macros. We see the relative references activated. Is that going to become the default from now on? Whenever I open up another Excel workbook and record a macro, is it going to be relative? Yes, until I turn that off. So I'm going to turn it off. because I don't want all my macros to be relative, and I don't want to have to remember to go turn that off. Even though you could see it when you go to record a macro, but I don't always go there. You notice that I got other places to go record my macros and way down there. Let's get back to our plan. Relative reference. We did that. Check. The developer tab, you now know how to add the developer tab. See that relative reference, check. And then now developer tab right here. We're gonna check, add a button, check, and what's left here? Let's see what's left. Oh, watch Excel write code. Okay, cool. Let's watch Excel write code. So we're gonna record a simple macro. Oh, wait, let's do one more macro here. Let's just test this out just for fun. All right. That's the format sheet. That's the Live Aloha macro. All right. So we're going to record a macro that does our print settings. So let me run through the print settings pretty quickly. Because right now I do a Control P. And then it prints all like this. And I get this spreadsheet once a week. Or maybe you get the spreadsheet or a spreadsheet like it several times a week. And you always got to format it. Because whoever's sending you the spreadsheet doesn't have it properly set to print. They just don't know what's up. They're not members of the 7 Steps to Excel Success VIP membership. So let's go through and we're going to make it so that we record a macro that every time we get this worksheet, it runs. We can press a button and format it to be set properly. So let's go ahead and record the macro for this. Start recording. And I'm going to call this print properly. I'm not going to give it a shortcut key because we're going to add it to the quick access toolbar. And stored in, I want it to be available in all my workbooks. So I'm going to store it in my personal macro workbook. And now it's going to be available in every workbook. But I'm not really going to do that right now because I don't want a personal macro workbook on my computer right now. But if I wanted this macro to be available every time I get this spreadsheet sent to me, because it's coming from somebody else that doesn't have it all set up already, and then I open it on my computer. It doesn't come with a macro in it. I got to use the macro that I have. So I got to store it in my personal macro workbook so it's available all the time. In this case, though, I'm not going to do that. Let's just imagine that I did. And then it formats to print properly. Sets print settings. That's just what I'll call it. All right, press OK. Boom, let's go ahead and go through it. Control A. And that ensures Control A. It ensures that, the columns are all the same in the spreadsheet all the time. It's just the rows. We get more and more rows, So Control A is always going to capture all the data. And then that way we can go ahead and set the print area properly. So we set the print area. And now let me continue on with this. I'm going to do this really quickly. You can always go back to the learn how to print properly, live stream, and catch it there. And let me give that custom header, file name, custom footer. Use this one that's preset. And then I'm going to press OK. There we have it, page 1. Not fit to one page, fit all columns to one page. And then I want the titles to print on both rows, on both sheets. So let's go back to print titles, rows to repeat at top. Boom. Press OK. Boom. And now I'm going to stop recording. So let me do a preview. Control P. Page 1, page 2, page 1, page 2. Nice. All right. So we got that macro recorded. So let's go right ahead. Let me undo all these. Let me just go to this sheet right here. where I'm going to run the macro. So this is a separate sheet. I do a Control P. We see that the print is all messed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to now add that macro for our print right there. So we're going to go to our right click on our quick access toolbar, customize quick access toolbar, choose commands from macros. We're going to choose the print properly macro, and let's go right ahead and take the print properly macro and add it. We select the print properly macro and click on modify, and then we're going to give it an icon. I'm just going to give it this purple. Boom, I like purple. Bam. Okay. And there we have it. Right in our quick access toolbar, the print properly icon. So now let me just do a Control P one more time. Make sure that this sheet needs to have the print properly macro run on it. So now I can go right ahead and I can press that button. Every time I get this spreadsheet, whenever I get this spreadsheet, I'm just going to run that macro, and it's stored in my personal macro workbook, so it's always going to work. Click. It ran just now. Let's do a Control P. Page 1, page 2, page 1, page 2. Just like that. Woo! All right. And then now, let's watch Excel write code for us. Okay, cool. So now let's say I go to this macro right here. How about we do this format macro? Let's minimize this, minimize everything. We'll go right over here. Come on, Excel. I'm having a hard time. There we go. All right. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want to fit the Visual Basic editor. So let's see, Alt F11 launches the Visual Basic editor. Right here. And then here it is. Here's every module is where in the modules is where your macros go. The modules for this workbook. So here's all our macros. We got the Live Aloha macro. We've got the format sheet macro. We've got the lavender macro. We've got the print properly macro. Whenever you see sub, gives us the name of the macro, and then the description, there's the beginning of another macro right here. Okay, and then right down here at the very bottom, there's going to be another macro being written for us when I go ahead and record another macro. So I'm going to record a macro here that just does a little bit different format, just so we can see a macro being recorded and we can complete our plan. So let's go and Home tab, editing, clear, all the formats. And then I'm going to record a macro that does a little bit different. So let's go ahead and record macro and format purple. Let me go ahead and zoom in right here. Format underscore purple. Stored in this workbook. And it formats sheet to purple. And then we press OK. Boom. And now you saw. There it is. It started writing the code for us. Watch. And now I'm going to press Control A. Whoop. See that? Look at that. It just wrote the code right there for us. It's writing the code. So you can almost have Excel teach you how to write code. Or go check out my friend right over here. Excel VBA is fun. Excel VBA is fun. All right, you got to. I don't have the description or the link anywhere. Let me go ahead and copy it and put it in the chat. Boom, there it is. And what's cool is that whenever you go to try to leave his website, he's going to offer you a free BBA course. Check it out right here. So just get your free BBA course. You can also get yourself the Excel formula bot. I love this tool. You see that I use it a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize all this and let's get back over here. I even have the Excel formula bot right here and as an add-in in Excel. It can even help you generate VBA code, the Excel formula bot. Use the coupon code Mr. Aloha when you go and make your purchase for the 1-year subscription. You're going to get an additional 10% off. So check out the links in the description. The macro's still recording. Oh, it recorded that step right there. Huh, I wonder if I can just delete it right there. Boop. There we go. And then now, continue on with the macro. So I'm going to go ahead and add the borders. Right click, add all the borders. Bam. And then I'm going to bold. And then this top one right here is going to merge and center. And we're going to fill it with purple. This one, we're going to make the text purple. And the background, light lavender. That is definitely not it. The accessibility is going to go off on this one. Okay. Let's change the font. Man, the font's not going to work. Boom. There we go. And now we can go ahead and stop recording the macro. But look, it recorded all the steps. So right here is our formats purple macro. It recorded all those. It just kind of made a mess. But it's going to run super fast, no problem. Let me go ahead and stop recording. We're going to undo these, undo all these steps. And then now let's press, let me go ahead and press Alt F8 to view my macros. Format purple, run it, boom. And there we have it. Yes. So we saw Excel write the macro for us. And we saw that there's all this extra code. There's all this extra code in here because I was messing around right here. This is where you come in. You saw me. I mentioned earlier that a macro can be written from you, just the recorder, recording the steps, or you could write the code, or you could do a combination of both. And you saw me here do a combination where I took out that extra line where it recorded the step of me opening up this add-in. I could go through and clean this up some more, but you saw that, we don't need to. I just recorded this one because I didn't want that to open when it's doing my format macro. All the other stuff is fine in there. And now you got a resource. You got a resource that you can go to learn about macros. Excel VBA is fun. You got the Excel formula bot. You got yourself a discount, Mr. Aloha. You can go check out myexcel.club. This is my world right here. Join. You get 3 days for free and then $7 a month. And there's so much. You got to go check out myexcel.club because there is just so much content down here. Tons and tons of content. I told you about the shortcutworld.com, and I've done it, my friends. Did you find value today? Did you learn? Did you get your golden nugget? Because I'm giving it all I have for you to get that golden nugget. Let's go ahead and add the final piece so that we can say that we are done. Yes, and let's hear some angels. Woo! All right, my friends. Wasn't that cool? Yes. We did it. Now we feel super good and super happy about it. Isn't that great? Yeah. There it is, my friends. Remember, I love you. I want you to keep on learning. And most of all, Don't get mad. Get yourself some skills, my friend, and I'll see you tomorrow. Chee-hoo. Aloha.